Since about 2010, I've had sleep paralysis once every couple months, really. However, I didn't realize how different of experiences people can have with sleep paralysis. And mine were never scary. I didn't see the demon on your chest, that are in all the old paintings of people with sleep paralysis and stuff. It didn't look like what you see when you look up sleep paralysis until about a month ago. And this is something I never really planned to talk about online because it really has been nothing new to me for a while now, until I posted on my Instagram a sleep paralysis experience that happened to me a week or two ago that really changed everything. And so I figured, why not just tell my whole sleep paralysis experience from the beginning? So that's what I'm doing today. When I was a kid in 7th or 8th grade, the first time I had sleep paralysis, I didn't know what it was. So I just remember waking up and seeing my alarm clock. And I saw that it was time for school. It was on the dot that my alarm usually goes off, but I didn't hear it. I just saw my alarm clock and I didn't try to move. I was just awake. And then my hearing slowly started working, and I realized that my alarm clock was going off this whole time, and I was just slowly able to hear and move my body. So I was first under the impression that maybe I sleep with my eyes open sometimes, and that was just really funny to me. And I couldn't wait to tell my siblings, to tell my mom, that I was pretty sure that I slept with my eyes open sometimes, and that's why I needed my room to be pitch black, That's just what I thought. And the sleep paralysis I had after that made me realize that how I started describing what would happen to me sometimes, because I didn't know what sleep paralysis was that I would just wake up before my body. That's the only way I could describe it. I would just tell people that, yeah, I was dreaming and my eyes woke up before my body did. And sometimes when my eyes are awake and the rest of my body is asleep, it's really easy for me to go back to sleep. But I can recognize that I woke up for a moment and I could see my whole bedroom and everything was in place, and I was not in a dream anymore. But I could easily get pulled back into a dream because it was only my eyes that were awake and nothing else. My body wouldn't let me move and I couldn't speak, but I never really tried. I was never scared. I thought it was cool. I was really into dreams. I had a dream dictionary and I liked journaling my dreams and waking up so I could write down little pieces and going back to sleep and stuff, but I didn't know what was happening. That was just the best way I could describe it, was that sometimes my eyes wake up before the rest of me. And that was it. Now, that was all throughout high school, and I noticed the downside of whatever I thought it was before I realized it was sleep paralysis was that sometimes I have scary dreams. I have nightmares. I'm running away from something. There's, a scary person after me in my dream. And when I wake up really suddenly, I can't move. I am easily pulled back into the dream, and that's scary because I can recognize that I am awake. I can see my room, but because I can't move anything, all I have to do is close my eyes, and in 2 seconds I'm back in the dream. And at that point, my bedroom at the time was right next to my sister's, and we had a connecting door. So I got into the habit of, when I would have these scary dreams and I would wake up with sleep paralysis, I would be really panicked. And it became a habit for me to start trying to yell out for my sister Danny to wake me up. And that is the only times that sleep paralysis was really scary. And it was just because, I had a bad dream and I didn't want to go back into the bad dream. So, you get really panicky when you notice that you're laying there, like, unable to move your body. You can't wake yourself up by lifting up your back. You can't even tilt your head at all. And if you are trying to scream, you're trying to talk, you're trying to get someone's attention and wake you up, you can't. It's like you can hear yourself in your brain. You're screaming in your brain, like you know what you're trying to tell your body to do, but you can't do it. And that was always the worst part. When I moved to Los Angeles in 2016, and a friend of mine moved in a couple blocks up from me in Tatanai, as that happens sometimes apparently, I started going over to his place, my friend Andrew's place, like every single day. And he lived with, our friend Zach. And they got into this nightly thing of watching, like ghost conspiracy stories and missing people stuff. And there was one video they were watching when I walked in that was about sleep paralysis. But this person who had sleep paralysis, on the TV, they were talking about this demon that was in their bed with them. Like, it was just looking at them. And I was like, oh my God, that's so scary. And I was telling my friend Andrew that I have sleep paralysis, but I've never seen anything. Like, that is crazy. Like, that must be something different because I'm just simply waking up before my body. Like, that's what I thought sleep paralysis was. I'm like, I don't see things? People see things? That's really scary. Because when my eyes are open, I am awake. Like, I'm awake. When I close my eyes, I know I'm in my dream. But those have never overlapped. I can always tell the difference between my bedroom in a dream and my bedroom when I'm awake. So that's really scary that happens to people. And that was the first time that I learned that some people see things and maybe their dream world in real life, crisscross. Or, I don't even know. There's so many avenues. There's so many different avenues you can go through. My dog is just laying here next to me. I know, I'm telling a scary story, but it's okay. Yeah, there are so many different possible reasonings, based on your experience with different things. However, I've never experienced or even dove into a possible realm where demons are in my room. Okay? And I believe in ghosts. I believe in ghosts. Souls, energy. I'm there. I get that. And of course that means that there are then dark energies, right? There's gotta be. But I feel very safe in every bedroom I've had. And I've never felt a negative energy, even while I have nightmares that, scary things are in my dreams. I don't wake up and see them. That's in my dream. So I was like, wow, that's too bad for those people that happens to. It never happened to me. So, wow, I'm very fortunate. I was like, I'm so fortunate to have the sleep paralysis that I have. Even though there's a fair amount of people that just don't have sleep paralysis at all, but good for you. Good for you. Since I moved into the house that I'm in right now with my friends, I've had sleep paralysis a couple of times, and it's always funny to me to explain to them what that's like because they don't have sleep paralysis and they don't know what that means. And there was, a night in the beginning of moving in that I had sleep paralysis, and I could hear that Albert, my roommate, was getting ready to go to work. And so I explained to him that that was kind of grounding. Like, even though I was panicked that I couldn't move my body yet, it was nice that I could hear him walking around, because it made me feel like, okay, nothing bad can happen. Even if I go back into this nightmare that I was just having, I know that I am safely in my bed, when I wake up. So everything was fine. I don't know what it was a month ago that threw off every thought that I ever had, but this one night, I was terrified. So how my bedroom is set up is I have my bed right here. We have the door over here that goes into the house, because I have my own little suite thing. Door that goes into the house. And then I have a door right behind this camera that goes outside, out into the front yard. The door that goes into the front yard has a sensor light, which is very annoying that my head faces it, at night, because we have so many stray cats that love our neighbor and they regularly walk past, my door and set off the light. This night, I didn't even have a nightmare. I just woke up with sleep paralysis. I thought I fell asleep one way, but I twist a lot at night, and I was on my side. I was on this side, and I can see my couch. My couch is right here. I have a couch and I have my TV. At the end of the couch, straight forward, is the door that goes out front. So I was a little panicked, just that I had sleep paralysis and I'm on my side, so I can tell my arm is probably really numb, but I can't move anything yet. So I'm just laying here. I'm just waiting till the rest of my body wakes up, or waiting till I go back into my dream or something. So I'm laying here and I'm looking at my room, and I'm trying to figure out what time it is just by looking at how light it is outside. It's still pretty dark, so maybe it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And the light outside turns on. And when the light turns on, this is really hard to talk about because I still don't want to admit that it sounds crazy. But when the light turned on, I saw a figure of someone, something in my room. It was like Tim Burton shaped humanoid thing, like squatting by the end of my couch. And then the sensor light went off. And now I am even more panicked than I was before, because all I could think of, what if the light turned back on and this thing is closer to me? But the sensor light turned back on, and the creature was still there in the same spot. And this time I could tell that it had long hair. And it was just like existing, just sitting, crouching in my room. And next thing I know, I am back asleep. That was that. And the nights after that, I didn't have sleep paralysis, but I was afraid of having sleep paralysis again. And then that was it. So I just thought, okay, this was just a really weird situation. There really isn't anything in my room that I could have mistaken it for, which is frightening again. But I mean, what can I do about it? So I kept existing, living my everyday life, and then about 2 weeks ago, in the beginning of January, I just could not sleep. Like every night I could not sleep, and I would be able to sleep for like an hour, and then I'd be up for 2 more hours. And I'd go back to sleep, and then I'd wake up again. And I was just having terrible nights of sleep over and over and over again, and I felt so sleep deprived, and I just felt exhausted every single day. And I went to bed, and I woke up with sleep paralysis again. And this time, I was facing the door that goes into the hallway. And I had a funny dream. Like, in this dream I talked about on Instagram, but in my dream, Ice Cube was my therapist, and I was just venting to him in my dream. So it was really funny. Like, I had a really funny dream, but I woke up with sleep paralysis, and I was like, oh man. And I'm like, okay, go back to sleep. Just go back to sleep. Think of Ice Cube. Think of Ice Cube. And I was like laughing about it in my head, while, you know, struggling with sleep paralysis and trying not to think about having sleep paralysis. But then I thought I heard my roommate, and so I tried talking. I tried screaming. And the more I tried, I swear I could feel it in my throat, like I was screaming, but I couldn't hear it. Like, I couldn't really hear it that I was screaming. So I was just panicked because I can't go back to sleep, but my body is stuck in sleep paralysis. So I have nothing to do but to stare at the door. And I cannot tell you if this really honestly happened or not, but I swear I was staring at my front door and it opened. It was kind of slow. They, oh my God. This thing opened slowly, and all I could see was a dark figure, and I could make out just here to here, and then there was my dresser. And all I could tell was that I could feel that this thing was peeking in to look at me. Again, next thing I know is I'm dead asleep, and I wake up, and I went to tell my roommates the funny dream about Ice Cube, and I stopped, and I looked at them, and I said, by any chance, did either of you open my door last night or this morning and like peek at me? And they both said no. So this was the second time in a row that I've ever seen anything during sleep paralysis. However, the next day, because I was so tired, I took a nap on my couch. Midday, my whole room is lit up. I wake up and I have sleep paralysis. So I'm like, okay, just go back to sleep. So I go back to sleep and I wake up again. And it feels like I'm waking up like every 10 minutes. I woke up so often, and every time I woke up, I had sleep paralysis. And then when I finally woke up and I didn't have sleep paralysis, I noticed that I took a 3-hour nap and I had sleep paralysis the whole entire 3 hours. It has never been this bad before. And since then, that was about a week ago, I still haven't slept all night yet, and I haven't slept comfortably yet. Really just send good energy my way, because I do not want it to get worse from here. I don't know what to do if it gets worse from here. I'm going to be sleeping in my friend's beds with them if this gets any worse. For those of you that have been asking for this video since the little bit I put on my Instagram, here's the whole story. And I hope that all of you sleep well. And I hope none of you experience something like this, because it is really scary. I just gotta hope that my little puppy can save me. You're gonna save me from all the evil spirits. If any of you have questions, feel free to leave comments down below. And if anyone out there has advice, please leave me some advice down below. I'm going to try not to do any more Storytime videos, and I'm going to try to keep this channel very, like, comedy, beauty based. So this video will probably be the last of its kind. So thank you all for watching. Feel free to check out my other content, even though it's nothing like this. Okay, bye.